Hurricane season is a real threat in Florida, and it can be hard to predict what will happen during your summer vacation. So what should you do? Should you cancel? Should you still try to go? What happens if you get stuck in your hotel room? Will you get food to eat? Well, don't panic and don't worry. We've got all the information you need to survive hurricane season in Disney World. Hey everybody, it's AJ for Disney Food Blog. Today we're talking about things I wish I'd known before going to Disney World during hurricane season. If you've ever been to Florida in the summer, then you know what I'm talking about. Summer's a great time to go to Disney when the kids are out of school, but summer in Florida also means you're going to run into storm season, which at its best means a heavy afternoon thunderstorm every single day, and at its worst means a hurricane that can close the parks. No need to cancel your trip right away though. We got all the info you need to be totally prepared for a trip to Disney during hurricane season. We've got the answers to all of your questions. Now, there's a lot of info in this video. Since we're in the thick of hurricane season right now, we made an easy cheat sheet for you to keep track of everything you need to know just in case. Go to disneyfoodblog.com/hurricane tips. To get a list of everything I'm about to share sent straight to your inbox. No need to take notes. By giving us your email, we'll sign you up for our totally free newsletter as well, so you can stay up to date about any potential storms impacting Disney World, whether those are actual weather storms or news storms. Oh, I'm so funny and witty. Yeah. And any other news that might affect your vacation. Okay, let's start with when is storm season. Well, this is Florida, so it's June through November. Peak hurricane activity is happening late summer, so August through October. Know that during these months, it usually rains every single day. It could be a quick rain that only lasts a few minutes, or it can be an all-day rain, but don't let that scare you into not coming to Disney during the summer. Believe me, we've got some info coming up that's going to take that fear away at least a little bit. Now, how often does Orlando get hurricanes? While a storm or hurricane may be predicted during your trip, that does not at all mean it will impact your trip in a big way. Plenty of times hurricanes are predicted, curvy prediction lines, and it looks like it's going to go straight through Orlando. But once they hit land, they downgrade to a tropical storm, and then you would only need to expect heavy rain and or winds. Now, it's very rare that Disney World will close because of an incoming storm. Of course, Disney does not want to close unless absolutely necessary, but it has happened before. Disney's closed only a handful of times for hurricanes, though. Back in 1999 for Hurricane Floyd, 3 separate occasions in 2004 for Charlie, Francis, and Jean, and 2016 for Hurricane Matthew, 2017 for Hurricane Irma, and most recently in 2019 for Hurricane Dorian. Now, hurricanes have caused very few closures over Disney World's 50-year run, so your odds are in your favor. However, it's good to be prepared for those moments just in case. Now, think ahead. If you want to go to Disney World during hurricane season, book a hotel where most buildings and common areas are connected indoors. There are a lot of hotels in Disney World that are spread out across a lot of land. And in order to get from the lobby to your room, you've got to walk a good portion of it outside. Now, you don't want to be in a situation where you can't get to the hotel's common areas quickly or while there's a storm happening. Because those common areas, that's where you're going to find the food. That's where the characters are going to be when they bring them out during the hurricanes. Because yeah, they do. We'll talk about that later. That's going to be where any necessities are going to be. The gift shops, things you might need, to survive while you're locked down in your room. So if you're going to Disney World during hurricane season, choose a hotel that you don't have to walk a long distance outside to get to the lobby from your room. Wilderness Lodge, Animal Kingdom Lodge, Boardwalk Inn, Contemporary Resort, Beach and Yacht Club, those kinds of hotels are going to give you a way you can easily walk around the hotel without having to walk in the bad weather, and you won't be confined to your room. You could also consider a room with a kitchenette so you could cook meals on your own. For value resorts, the family suites have kitchenettes, and so do the All-Star Music Resort family suites. Kitchenettes include a dorm-sized fridge, coffee maker, bar, sink, microwave, and some cabinet space. For moderate resorts, Fort Wilderness cabins have full kitchens, and every room at a deluxe villa property have either a kitchenette or a full kitchen. That's Old Key West, Saratoga Springs, Polynesian Villas, Bay Lake Tower, Contemporary Resort, Riviera Resort, Grand Floridian Villas, and more. Now, the size of your kitchen depends on the size of your room. Studios will have the small kitchenette, while 1, 2, and 3 bedroom villas will have full kitchens, plus plenty of extra space if you're stuck inside because of the weather. So that's the first thing you want to think about is where are you going to stay during hurricane season? So that's a good, solid first step. Okay, so what is a hurricane actually like? A lot of people who live in Orlando have lived through these. A lot of our staff members and team members have lived through hurricanes. But some of you may be traveling to Orlando without ever experiencing a hurricane and don't have any idea what it's actually like to be in the middle of a storm like that. So depending on the size of the storm, Disney will start by closing outdoor attractions while keeping the rest of the parks open. If the storm continues to get worse, then they will completely close the parks and guests will need to ride out the storm at their hotels. And they could close in the middle of the day to let everyone get home before the storm actually starts. Hurricanes start out just like a regular storm with rain and wind, then it gets much more intense, so much so that you can't see outside. It will also get louder. Tree branches will bend and break off, debris will fly, trees will fall over, be uprooted from the ground, and they can fall on houses or cars, of course. But the thing I most often hear people talk about is the sound. It's terrifying. Disney has backup power sources and generators to help keep the power on for their guests. That way everything at the resort can stay open, or at least a lot of things can stay open. Food court, gift shop, their computer systems, etc. So what to do about food? Well, Disney will provide plenty of options for food. It might not be as many options as regularly available, but you will not go hungry. Disney's offered hurricane meal kits at resort quick service restaurants this year, and breakfast kits might include a bagel, cream cheese, Greek yogurt, cereal, milk, fruit, and orange juice for about $8. And lunch and dinner kits would have a sandwich, chips, granola bar, fruit, water, and cookie for around $6 to $10 per person. We saw these pop up as mobile order meals in the My Disney Experience app when the last named storm was threatening the Orlando area, but Disney has always offered some sort of grab-and-go meal that won't cost you an arm and a leg during storms. As long as it's safe, your resort's restaurants will stay open. Now, Disney might have to observe a curfew to comply with an Orange County mandatory curfew. However, the curfew could only be for staying at your hotel, not necessarily confined to your room. Disney will tell you before the hurricane hits if you need to stay in your room. Now, the good news is that Disney World is one of the safest places to be if you are in the middle of a hurricane. In terms of preparedness, they are 100% on top of it. The entire resort has been built to withstand hurricane force winds. Disney is NOAA storm ready, meaning the National Weather Service has declared Disney World is ready to withstand those hurricane force winds. They've reached a high level of severe storm preparedness as well. Disney is the first theme park and resort in the country to achieve this recognition. Now, this program helps communities develop plans to handle severe weather like hurricanes, and to be recognized as storm ready, they must establish a 24-hour warning point and emergency operations center, have more than one way to receive severe weather forecasts and warnings and to alert the public, create a system that monitors local weather conditions, promote the importance of public readiness through community seminars, and develop a formal hazardous weather plan, which includes training severe weather spotters and holding emergency exercises. So one of the safest places to be in Orlando during a hurricane is a Disney Resort hotel. They're built to withstand strong winds and rain. Some Disney hotels always allow pets in certain rooms, but during past hurricanes, they have allowed evacuees and their pets to come stay. Locals will even stay at a resort instead of their homes, and when people on the coast of Florida are told to evacuate, they will come to Orlando to ride out the storm. People trust Disney, and they trust their buildings. Now, you will know exactly what is going on with the storm and any updates throughout your resort if you are in Disney World during a hurricane. Signs will be posted throughout explaining resort operations, and the TVs will also give out information. Operations throughout the hotel might change, but you will still have everything you need like food court, gift shop, etc. Disney's going to provide plenty of options for food. It might not be as many options as regularly available, but you will not go hungry. And cast members are there to help you with anything. Don't be afraid to ask questions if you've got them. There will be a whole team of cast members, the Hurricane Ride-Out team, that have volunteered to be part of the Ride-Out crew. They'll be staying at the hotel during the whole storm to make sure guests are taken care of. Once the storm is over, Disney will send out a team immediately to clean up the parks and resorts so they can open again, picking up debris, tree branches, chairs, etc., and they will not open the parks again until they have assessed that the parks and the rides are safe for guests. In the event of a closure and you're stuck at the hotel, Disney's known to have activities even to keep everyone entertained and even take your mind off the storm for a little bit. That ride-out team is there to keep you entertained and make sure you still have a memorable vacation. And of course, to keep you safe. They might have a movie marathon going on in the lobby. They might play games, host some trivia, have dance parties, and more. They might even make some magic and bring your favorite characters to the hotel. That has happened multiple times during hurricane closures in the past. And they've allowed the arcade games to be free and have offered in-room movies for free as well. Most hurricanes have only lasted a day or two, and Disney will open up the parks again as soon as they can. And while Disney parks have withstood a little bit of damage during hurricanes, it's rarely been anything super significant. So usually you can get in there and get in the parks as soon as they reopen. And since everybody left and went home during the hurricane, it's usually pretty short waits for rides at that point. Now let's talk about things to help you prepare. Bring something to keep you dry in the rain. Umbrella, rain jacket, poncho. We talk to you about that all the time, and we're always telling you it's going to rain in Disney World, so definitely bring that stuff because it's expensive to buy at the parks, especially if you have to buy them for every member in the family. Also, if you're going during hurricane season, think about your shoes. Nothing's worse than walking around in those wet socks or those shoes rubbing against your feet, giving you blisters. We don't recommend flip-flops or tennis shoes when you're going during the rainy season. Try water-friendly shoes, quick-drying shoes like Crocs, Chacos, or Teva sandals. Wear comfy clothes. With rain and humidity, you want to be comfortable, so bring extra clothes to the park. Bring plastic Ziploc bags for wet clothes, electronics, etc. And bring more electronic batteries, phone, laptop, etc. The power likely won't go out, but just in case, bring some backup ways to keep your devices charged. Find a good, reliable weather source to keep you updated on the latest storm updates. Our team members really like using AccuWeather and WeatherBug when it comes to checking the weather in Disney World, but for storms, you may want to keep up the National Hurricane Center forecasts or look into an independent hurricane tracking site like Tropical Tidbits. Okay, now here's the meat of the matter. You may be wondering, can I reschedule my trip during a hurricane? Well, let's talk about it. Disney's policies are listed on their website. They even have a hurricane FAQ page. Why? Because this is very tricky. And when a hurricane is coming to Orlando, everybody's contacting Disney and wanting their money back. So they are very careful about the wording and how they structure their hurricane policy. So stick with me here. If a hurricane warning is issued by the National Hurricane Center for Orlando or for your place of residence within 7 days of your scheduled arrival date, you may call in advance to reschedule or cancel your Walt Disney Travel Company Disney Resort Hotel packages and most room-only reservations booked with Disney without any cancellation or change fees from Disney. Now, this does not include any third-party rentals like airlines, off-site hotels, car rental agencies, etc. If you did not book your vacation directly through the Walt Disney Travel Company, that cancellation policy does not apply to your vacation. If booked through a travel agent, contact them for any rescheduling or cancellation fees. And you will also need to contact those other third-party suppliers to see what their policy is with hurricanes. So what's the moral of the story, everybody? Figure out what the hurricane policy is before you book your trip during hurricane season, especially if you're booking with third-party operators. Now, this policy also applies to packages for sports groups, but not other special events, meaning it does not apply to youth groups, meetings, or conventions either. If you received a special offer when booking, cast members will reschedule to new dates if the offer is still available. If not, they'll find alternate offers for your new vacation dates. If you reschedule your vacation, Disney cannot guarantee the exact same accommodations you had before, but can guarantee the amount you already paid will go toward your new vacation dates. Now, the Disney website has all this info and more regarding hurricane policies and any changes they may, add in there, right? Because again, this is all about liability. This is all legalese. So read that stuff first. Make sure you know what's going on and you're aware of any refund policies or lack thereof before you book during hurricane season. Now, what to do if you are stuck in a storm? When in doubt, call the front desk of your hotel. They will have the most up-to-date info about anything and everything. If traveling by car, keep an eye on the upcoming forecast, and if you have time before weather gets bad, fill up that gas tank. If the parks are going to close for a storm, they will most likely close early the day before the storm is predicted to hit to give guests and cast members enough time to prepare. And if your trip is looking like it will be impacted by a hurricane, try to head to the grocery store to get a few non-perishable items and water bottles, enough to last maybe a day and a half in your room. Disney will also sell these items in the gift shop if you're nervous about leaving your resort or don't have a car. Now, the restaurants at your resort will stay open as long as it is safe to do so. They might offer special discounts. They may have modified menus. For example, back in 2019, Ohana at the Polynesian Village Resort offered a major discount because the restaurant was open but without the characters. Now, if you're staying in a balcony room, you will be asked to pull in the furniture, and there may be other specifics that your hotel will make sure to tell you about. So be ready to receive those and to follow those rules because they know what they're talking about. They know know how to withstand these storms. Now, again, cast members are fantastic. They are going to be so helpful during these days. They are going to increase entertainment, try to keep everybody calmed down, and make sure you have what you need. Now, here's what you need to do if you need to change your vacation while you're at Disney World. If you want to go home early, that's okay, but there are some things you need to know. Make sure you leave the right way, well in advance of the storm. The airport may begin a ground stop hours or even a day before the storm arrives. Go to the front desk to let them know you're leaving. Disney keeps an accurate count of the guests in their hotels, and if you go missing, that's not good. Then they're able to use your room for shelter for someone who needs it. Disney will try to give you money back on tickets and park days that you were not able to use, and they can also help you cancel dining reservations and possibly get money back for that too. If not canceled properly though, you could be charged a no-show fee. So remember to keep an eye on that if you're going to leave early. If your flight home is delayed or canceled and you need to add more days to your vacation, again, go to the front desk. Disney strives for great guest service and they'll do everything they can to help you, but remember, they may not be able to do everything. Read those policies. Read them before you go. Read them before you book. They're important. Now, if you'd feel more comfortable booking with a travel agent during hurricane season because they can call and switch plans around for you so you don't have to, we recommend Small World Vacations. They only deal with Disney vacations. They've been doing it for years. They're the experts. They know the ins and outs of Disney's policies, so you'll be in good hands with them. Now, what to do if you haven't left for your trip yet? Well, if you think you might run into a storm during your trip, make some phone calls ahead of time to see what the policies are. Call the airline, car rental company, etc. Ask how they inform guests when a hurricane is approaching and what their refund policy is. And definitely make sure you have travel insurance on the things that you will not get your money back on if there is a hurricane. So check exactly what your travel insurance policy covers and what it does not. Read that fine print. How far out to make that decision to go or reschedule? Disney's policy is only used when you are 7 days out from your vacation. Now, there has to be a warning issued from the National Hurricane Service as well. So if you want to change or cancel your trip before that warning's been issued, you may have to pay that cancellation fee. And as always, it's up to you to make the best decision for you and your family depending on your comfort level. The pros of going during hurricane season? Well, you may end up with low crowds and short lines and a storm that doesn't impact Disney at all. That's definitely happened. Or you could have a whole new experience that few Disney World guests get to see. Cons? You may be anxious while on your trip, and bad weather could mean the parks close for the whole day or two during your trip. And of course, storms like this can be very unsafe. So hurricane season is long and a storm could pop up anytime, so make a plan in advance, talk to your family, decide what you would do if a storm was coming before it arrives, so you don't need to make a stressed and rushed decision. And while the thought of a hurricane hitting Orlando during your trip can be scary, you don't need to panic. Disney knows what they're doing and they're ready to handle any storms. As long as you're prepared and have a good attitude, nothing can stop you from having a great vacation at Disney World. But remember to look at all that stuff in advance, be logical, rational, think about this stuff before you go so you have a plan. And remember, if you didn't take notes during this video, I know there's a lot of information. You can get that handy cheat sheet over at disneyfoodblog.com/hurricane tips. Now, if you want more info about how to prepare for any kind of weather at Disney World, check out our other video, How to Survive Disney World Weather and Hurricane Season. That is another video with great tips about weather at Disney World, not just hurricanes, because you're bound to encounter some of Florida's wild weather while on vacation. I hope this has been helpful. I've talked to so many people who have been terrified about their trips potentially being ruined because of hurricanes. And it really all comes down to knowing the cancellation and change policies, having a plan for how you'll handle things if a storm is headed to Disney World when you're there, and making sure you're able to be flexible if it does happen. All right, there you go. I hope that's helpful for you. I know a lot of you are headed to Disney World here for the 50th anniversary, which is right in the middle of hurricane season. So fingers crossed we don't have to deal with that, but if we do, here's how to get through it. Thanks for listening and thanks for watching. As always, this is AJ for Disney Food Blog, and we'll see you real soon.